Welcome to Meeple Mentor. I'm Jared, and today I'll be covering the latest news, announcements, most played games, hot new Kickstarters, and more related to board gaming for the past 2 weeks. At the end, I'll also be sharing what's going on behind the scenes with my channel, so stick around, we've got a lot to cover. You can use the chapter timestamps I included in the video description to jump around to the topics that interest you the most. Leave me a like and comment on what kinds of updates that you want to hear more about. To make sure you don't miss my news updates, new video tutorials, and our podcast episodes, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell below the video. Among the Kickstarters going on right now, I wanted to start off with a solo card game which has seen a huge amount of funding. The Road is all about survival. Traverse hostile territories and threats and find allies, weapons, food, and items to trade. The game uses tension, suspense, and strategy on your way to salvation and your destiny found at the end of the road. This one is a Kickstarter exclusive and will never hit retail. You have 2 weeks left to back it. Another extremely popular game on Kickstarter right now is Primal: The Awakening. Only 10 days left and is already at $1.5 million. It's a fully cooperative deck crafting boss battler board game, which features card-driven tactical combat and large-scale miniatures. Not only can you play together with up to 4 people, you can also solo the game. Take on quests, fight monstrous creatures, collect resources, and unveil mysteries and secrets of the world of Theria. This game just feels epic. Now let's talk about Call of Madness, which is a 1 to 4 player competitive board game where players are Cthulhu cultists fighting off investigators. At over 300% funding already reached, you have 10 days to back it on Kickstarter. Normally, you see Lovecraft games like Mansions of Madness and Arkham Horror have players be the investigators. Now you get the chance to be the cultists and try to summon the Great Ancient One. I'm excited to see how this one does. Another game on Kickstarter gaining a lot of attention is Carnegie Deluxe Edition, featuring artwork by Ian O'Toole. Designed by Xavier Georges of Twa, Black Angel, and Carson City fame, this strategic 1 to 4 player game is about Andrew Carnegie. Carnegie rose to become one of the richest men in the world in his time through his business in the steel industry. In the game, players will recruit employees and expand their businesses by investing in real estate, producing goods, developing transport technology, and creating transport chains across the US. I think this is going to be quite popular among the Eurogaming crowd. For a change of pace, look at this small 2-player strategy game on Kickstarter called Make 100 Cloisters the Game. While it takes only 15 minutes to play, the simple rules but very deep gameplay allow for a very competitive abstract game experience. Using blocks and beads on a cloth playmat, this has a lot of potential to be the next Hive or Shobu. Next up on Kickstarter with 2 weeks left is Fallen Land 2nd Edition Big Box and Descendants expansion. This is a story-driven sandbox adventure game for 1 to 6 players where you lead a faction through a massive wasteland world. Set out and explore the wastes, claim resources, advance your faction's agenda, build and manage your town, and protect your citizens and resources. It's huge and will take 1 hour per player to play. It funded in 4 hours and already has an 8.3 rating on BGG. The first big industry news is that Board and Dice Games has cut their working relationship with prominent game designer Daniel Texini. Texini is well respected in the industry and known for games such as Teotihuacan, Tzolk'in, Tekhenu, Trismegistus, and more. However, due to some comments he made on social media recently, he's been removed from their designers. Apparently, he made some comments that were racist in nature and seen as inappropriate. Instead of making a strong apology, he failed to acknowledge his wrongdoing and instead focused on providing context to his remarks. What this means for the future is they will no longer consider future designs for publication by him, but are still contractually obligated to support the previously released games. Similarly, the CEO of Funnigan Games has been forced to step down from his position and relinquish control effective immediately. Funnigan Games is a smaller company with around 25 full-time employees, but CEO Jeff DeBoer will no longer be involved. On Facebook, he went on a hate-filled misogynist rant against a single mother. These comments, of course, did not reflect the opinions or values of the company. This announcement has also impacted some of the business relationships Funnigan Games has, including developer BrainCrack, who notified them this week they are terminating their partnership. In other industry news, this year's Origins Game Fair will be moved from June to September 30th to October 3rd. This is to hopefully allow more time for the COVID vaccine to roll out to more people. PortalCon 13 is scheduled tomorrow the 23rd and is an online event being held on Portal Games' Twitch account and various YouTube channels. I've included a link in the video description to get tickets to watch. It's open to everyone and completely free. By tuning in, you'll hear about Portal Games announcements and hear from game designers like Ignacy Trzewick. Of course I can't pronounce that. This weekend ends a voting poll held by Casual Game Revolution for the best casual game of 2020. Click the link in the video description to vote for one of the 3 nominees by Sunday night. In game announcement news, Floodgate Games has announced Sagrada Legacy. More details will come out in the coming weeks, but is planned to be released this summer during Gen Con. Renegade Game Studios has announced a new flip and write game for release this year called Hadrian's Wall. Play as Roman generals building up the empire's defenses, focusing on a mile castle and wall. You can pre-order it on their website, and it's expected to release in the second quarter. New game Umbra Via by Pandasaurus Games is about creating paths through a garden using tile placement, area control, and blind bidding. It plays 2 to 4 players in 30 to 45 minutes. It won the 2019 Cardboard Edison Award, which is run by game designers. A new dungeon crawling board game is coming out first quarter by Upper Deck called Keepers of the Questar. This is a 2-player, one-on-one dungeon crawl game where each player takes the roles of the whole party of adventurers and the questmaster. Players will design a dungeon for their opponent to race through and avoid their monsters and traps. Each game will be unique and different due to the amount of customization players can make their dungeons. If you're a fan of Terraforming Mars and wish there was a way to play without the game board and just use cards, you're in luck. Stronghold Games has just announced a Terraforming Mars standalone card game called Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. This will have faster gameplay with over 200 uniquely illustrated cards. This will be crowdfunded on Kickstarter this year, but the launch date hasn't been revealed yet. Also coming to Kickstarter later this year are 2 titles from Colossal Games. Reload is a tabletop game that imitates first-person shooter video games in an attempt to recreate the Battle Royale style. With miniatures, a modular board, and dice combat, this looks to be a popular hit. It's for 2 to 4 players and plays in about 60 minutes. The second title is Lost Empire's War for the New Sun, which is a sci-fi deck-building game taking place on a distant planet. Players will construct an 18-card deck to compete over various objectives, destroy enemies, and gather alien artifacts. Plays in about half an hour and is for 2 players. 2 new titles from Capstone Games has been announced for release in April. First up is a new edition of Glass Road by Uwe Rosenberg, boasting a lower price of $59.99, but with the same print quality as Z-Man's original printing. The second game is a brand new title called Juicy Fruits. The game is a tile placement game about fulfilling passing ships' fruit orders and slowly building your island business. This one is for 1 to 4 players and plays in 20 to 50 minutes. It will retail for $39.95. Another game about delivering cargo to ships from islands is Pebble Rock Delivery Service by Skybound Games. This one is a pick up and deliver game for both gamers and families. 2 to 4 players and 30 to 45 minutes. Plan your route as a captain to avoid sharks and pirates in order to deliver your cargo to characters around various islands. You can pre-order this now or wait for the retail release on January 27th. A new real-time sliding puzzle game is expected to release on February 12th this year called Pakal. Pakal is by Cranio Creations and has players making a path through the jungle to gain treasure at the end. Players reveal objective cards and slide blocks to show the required symbols before the timer runs out each round. Get new scoring blocks and advance the scoring track to the end before the other players to win. Up to 4 players can play and will each have their own personal board to use. It plays in 20 minutes and will retail for $30. The Meeple Mentor channel is part of the board game community, the Gateway Network, made up of great upcoming board game content creators. In this segment, I'll highlight one of the other great content creators part of the network. Today, I want to talk about Fantasy and Some Flights. Fantasy and Some Flights was formed between 2 nerdy friends who both love fantasy, board games, and a long conversation over cold drinks. Nelson and Dalton host a discussion-based podcast where they analyze exciting and fun topics. The podcast is built on 4 pillars of beer, board games, books, and bourbon. In each episode, they pick a topic from these pillars and discuss them over drinks. Check them out for a chilled-out board gaming podcast while chilling your beer. They post new episodes bi-weekly and can be found at fantasyandsomeflights.com and Instagram at fantasyandsomeflights. Click the link in the video's description or head over to the Gateway Network's Instagram to see more. On the Meeple Mentor channel, I'm happy to announce we have more merch that you can get to represent Meeple Mentor wherever you go. If you check out thegatewaynetwork.com, you'll see a merch tab where all our creators have stuff for sale. There you can find all kinds of cool stuff from laptop bags, pens, drawstring bags, t-shirts, mugs, tote bags, and stickers. How cool is that? From my website, meeplementor.com, you can also find more clothing options like hoodies from that merch page. I just think that's pretty cool. Over the past 2 weeks, I posted unboxing videos for the Tainted Grail stretch goals and Wave 2 content, and for the artistic game Canvas. This week, a tutorial for Dragon Castle was released, which is a fun abstract game using Mahjong-like tile pieces. This coming Tuesday, tune in to see the next Mentor Minutes podcast episode. We'll be discussing our top 10 games new to us. We each have a separate list based on games we've played recently and for the first time. If you want to listen to the podcast audio without video, remember you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and lots more. So check it out. I've got lots of games in the pipeline that I'll be covering on the channel. I'm just not sure yet the order of these, but I'm working on tutorial videos for Great Western Trail, Dinogenics, Smash Up, Lost Ruins of Arnak, and Euphoria. Stick around to see those when they come out. I release new tutorials on the first and third Tuesday of each month. Feel free to leave me a comment or suggestion. I try to respond to everyone I can, and I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks for watching this week's news update. Like and subscribe to see the next news update and more. And remember, teach when you can, but always be learning. See you next time.